No, that would not be a good start. All right. Let the chaos begin. All right? All right. So, do we have some winners in the house? Yeah? All right. Look at that. Defending champions on the front row, almost. Second row. Very good. But the champions are on the front row. Look at that. All right. Very good. Hey, where was my second place team from last time? Now, what are you guys doing in the back row? All right. Very good. Well, hey, thank you guys for being so patient with the chaos of today and tonight and yesterday. It will begin to flow a little smoother after tonight. Hopefully. Right? All right. So, also, and I'll say this again at the end, hopefully to remind you, but you will kind of get with your teams a little bit at the end, so hopefully that will break up when everybody leaves exactly. But as you're leaving tonight, I know the parking lot isn't conducive for this many people, and we're sorry about that, but just as you're backing up and going forward, pay real close attention. That would not be a great way to start your lose to win experience. But let me tell you what was a great way to start your lose to win experience. Combat. Who was in for the workout? Yeah? That was a lot of fun. Anybody get some frustration out? All right. Did anybody pretend like that was me in front of you? All right, good. You may next week, so we shall see. You may be mad at me in the morning when you wake up and you're going, oh, my shoulders can't move. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead like it's really going to matter, but I am going to put the time up here so I can kind of watch that. We're going to cover a lot of stuff tonight, guys. Are you guys good with that? Yeah, we're going to try to get you kicked off right. So some of you are here, and this is your very first time to be here. A lot of you, this may be your first time. And for that, we say thank you for being here. And our hope and our goal is that when you walk away from here, that you are excited, inspired, and motivated to live a healthy life. You may not walk away from here, and you may not be perfect at this journey, because I will tell you what, I'm not perfect in this journey. As a matter of fact, the holidays this year, they weren't good to me. I was good to them, though, all right? So we had a good time over the holidays. I did put on a few pounds over the holidays, but that's just kind of the way it goes, right? It happens sometimes. So I say that to tell you this, we're going to be transparent, we're going to be open, and we're all in this journey together. And we're going to move forward together. You're going to have some struggles and some tough times, and that's why we have these teams, to lift you up and to push you forward. That's why we have your coaches. Coaches, can I hear you? Yeah? Isn't that amazing? We have as many coaches that are going to help you with your teams as what we did the very first time we had this competition. Isn't that cool? That is exciting to me, to know that we are beginning to impact the health of this community. And that is the goal. We want to impact, and because what happens is when we begin to impact your health, it impacts every other aspect and area of your life. Are you ready for life change? Are you ready for some change? Because when this starts to take hold in your life, I promise you, you will begin to change physically, you'll begin to change emotionally, you'll begin to change spiritually, you'll begin to change in ways that you didn't even anticipate changing. And that is exciting stuff. That is good news tonight, isn't it? So, you may be here tonight and you may be going, okay, this is the first time I've ever tried to really get healthy. And I'm here to tell you that I believe this will work for you. You may be here tonight, and this may be your last-ditch effort. There's probably a lot of you here tonight going, I've tried this, I've tried that, I've done this, I've done that, and nothing has seemed to work. Please let this program help me. Anybody in that category? I think there's probably some of you in that category tonight. And our belief, our hope, and our goal is that it will. And I think that if you ask people that have participated, they will tell you, if you will put into place the things that we teach, that really are just common sense, that if you'll put those things into place, that you will be on the journey. And you're going to find it's not all about the food you eat, it's not all about the things that you put in your mouth, but it's about what's going on up here. We're going to talk a lot about those practical kind of things. But we're also going to talk a lot about what's going on in between your ears. Because what's going on in between your ears is really what the issue seems to be. And I will tell you this. This may be good news for some of you. This may be bad news for some of you. I don't know. I hope you will take it and you will look at it in the positive way. But once you've had this struggle, you will likely always have this struggle on some level. Now, you could choose to look at that, and this is the first choice I'm going to ask you to make. You could choose to look at that in a negative way, or you could choose to say, I accept that, and I'm ready to move forward anyway. And that's what this whole thing is about. It's about you making choices that will change your life. Are you ready to change your life? Yeah? All right, so we do have some winners in the room. I'm excited about that. But let's get into kind of the program. I'm going to go through this stuff really quickly because I hit most of this in the video that hopefully you watched online. And some of you may have noticed that YouTube took us down. I don't know. At the very beginning of the info meeting last Thursday night, we had some music playing, and somehow YouTube picked up on that, and they said we were violating copyright issues. You know, of all the things on YouTube, they take Lose to Win down. What's up with that? I don't know. But anyway, so we chopped that part off. We re-uploaded it. It's back out there. That's on the Facebook group. If you've not joined the Facebook group, definitely do that if you're a Facebook person. If you're not a Facebook or a technical person, that's another reason why we have your coaches in place. If you have questions, if you need to communicate, obviously communicate with them. They should be letting you know throughout time what is going on. All right? So just a little bit of information and history about the program. This is our 11th competition. All right? This, as you can guess, is our biggest competition that we've ever had. So, you know, the cool thing about that is this. We're going to get more prizes than any competition we've ever given. All right? That's always fun. We'll try to do as much recognition as possible. And some of you said, I'm already planning on collecting the money. All right? But what you're going to gain is so much more. That's what we believe. Anyway, I won't go into all the details of the history behind this, but it started off as just a little program. Honestly, because I was 272 pounds and I needed a solution. I needed something to help me to get in shape. And so we had a pharmacy resident at Markram's that said, you know, I've got to do a community outreach project. I said, perfect. Do one of those Biggest Loser competitions, and I'll lose the weight, I'll win the prize, and everything will be great. So she did that. We did that together, and I did win the first one, you know, so I was excited about that. Here's the thing, though. I put almost all the weight back on. You guys are like going, what? That's so discouraging. But I will tell you this. For those of you that have, then there's another category of you in the room tonight that are like me. You've lost it, maybe once or twice, and now you've gained it back and maybe even some more. Here's the good news about that. The good news about that is that this time, it's going to be harder. You say, well, how's that good news? Okay, because it is. It's going to be harder. I can speak from experience. But the good news is, because it's harder, you're not going to put it back on this time. Because you're going to remember, it was so hard that second time. Because the first time, it's all fun and games, and you're into it and excited. And then you put it back on, and you're like, man. And then you take it back off again, and you're like, I don't want to do this again. So right now, I want you to commit in your mind and in your heart, I'm never going to do this again. All right? The only people who walk away, not winners in this program, are people who quit. So I have you, the reason I took this picture on the stage is I've got proof that you were here now. All right? And I'm going to ask you to commit that you don't quit. Because that's the only way you may not end up on a leaderboard. You may not end up in the money. But you only lose if you quit. So don't quit. Commit that you're going to be here 10 weeks from tonight, 11 weeks from tonight, that you're going to be here celebrating your success and your victory. It may not be up on stage, it may not be the money, but that you will commit that you will be here 11 weeks from tonight and you will celebrate the victory that you have had over the past 11 weeks. That's what's going to happen 10 weeks from now. I'm predicting that if you will commit to not quitting. So, can everybody commit, I won't quit? Let's hear it. I won't quit. I won't quit. I won't quit. I won't quit. So now I have your picture. I have you on audio. You can't do it now. It's like it's a verbal contract, right? You can't quit. Well, and I'll blackmail you later, Nathan. That's right. All right? So this is who I was. All right? And these pictures, I didn't like widen them out or anything like that. That's really the deal. I mean, that's who I was. And there are my man boobs, okay? Anyway, that's just the way it happens. Like I said, I put a few pounds on lately, and I'm going to use you guys as my motivation to get healthy and continue on my journey as well. And then life changes, and you say, you know what? I've got to do something different. I want to be healthy. I want to change. And so I had to change some things in my life. I had to change the things I was focused on. I had to change some of the people that I was around, some of the people that I allowed to influence me. One of the reasons that we do the teams is so that you'll bring all the people that you used to get fat with and y'all get skinny together, right? That's why we do the teams. And so now, instead of eating together, you're going to challenge each other to exercise together, and you're going to get healthy together. And hey, you know what? I want you to be annoying to your friends. They need you to do that for them. They need you when you're hanging out and you're playing bunco, or you're, see, I told you, when you're scrapbooking, all right? When you're watching the game on Saturday and you notice somebody's grazing, tell them to stop. That's what we're here for. We're here to support each other. So either change the people that you're around or change the people you're around. Does that make sense? Because that's what it's going to take to succeed, right? So I changed the people I was around. I really don't hang out with Tony Horton, Bob Harper, and Sean T., but I like to think that I do, right? So anyway, so what can you expect from Lose to Win? If you were here the other night, you saw this. I'm not going to go through all this, okay? But we'll just go through it real quick. Education, motivation, competition. We'll have some guest speakers. You're going to have some homework. You're going to get points for that. We're going to have, of course, we're going to hold each other accountable. You can expect hard work. How many of you worked hard already for 30 minutes earlier tonight? Yeah? All right, awesome. You're going to get better health. You're going to feel better. You're going to lose weight. And people are going to say that you're weird. All right? We're going to do some practical things too. Here's a practical tip for you. Today's weight loss tip: use super glue as lip gloss. All right? That's your practical weight loss tip for the day. So what not to expect. We're not going to spoon feed you. We're not going to give you everything. Part of this, we believe that part of this particular program, I do other things that help people in other ways, but this particular program is about helping you discover for yourself what it is that works for you. And so that's hopefully what you're going to walk away with. So we're not going to give you every little answer. And I think I've tried to be very clear about that from day one, 7 years ago. We're not going to give you every little thing. We're going to give you tips. You guys are going to help each other. We're going to have a community that helps. One of the coolest things that happens is, somebody was telling me this. This is not the first time I've heard this, but somebody was shopping at Walmart, and they were in the healthy food section, okay, and they started talking to the person next to them, and they didn't know him, and they were like, well, I've got to start eating healthy on Wednesday. And the person looked at them and said, you too? I'm starting Wednesday. And they were like, are you doing that Lose to Win thing? And I said, yeah. So we're creating, hopefully, a community of people that are going out and helping others become healthy. But you have to choose to do that, so you have to figure out what works for you, okay? We're going to cover some generalities. We're going to give you the education that it's going to take to make those changes. And this is what this says. It says it's not about having abs, being skinny, ripped, curvy, or even healthy. It's about being the best version of you. We talk a lot about getting healthy, and I believe that's the path we're going down. But that path takes you to you being the best version of you. You are created for a purpose. You are created for a reason. And you know what? The sad truth is our health gets in the way of that purpose and that reason that we're created too many times. And it's time for that to end for you tonight. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that to end? Are you ready to live the life that you were created to live? You were made for so much more, and you can accomplish so much. But how many things have you had to sacrifice? How many things have you given up? How many things have been taken away from you because of your health? Because you couldn't get down on the floor and play with your kids, because you couldn't go on a trip, because you couldn't do this or that. You fill in the blank, whatever it is. It's time for that to end. It's time for you to take your life back and be the best version of you that you can be. And I'm excited about that. I'm so happy that I am in that process myself of trying to live that out. And I'm so happy that you're here because you can live that out too. So, the prizes. Who wants to talk about prizes? All right? So we've got some individual prizes. Our top percentage male loser is going to be... we got one there. We got one there. Guys, we've got one in the back. All right. So, see, now we're going. All right. Now, whoa. That was kind of weird. All right. So top male loser, $200. Top female, do we have the top female loser in the house? All right. So, very good. Top female, $200. Team prize. Who's our team winner? All right. So that's good. Top team to divide $1,000. All right. And I'll announce more prizes next week. We'll figure out hopefully some creative ways to recognize people. We'll figure out some creative ways to recognize people along with their journey. All right? We definitely want to recognize as many as possible. Now, here's a little fun thing we started last time. All right. Now, I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to mention, before we talk about this, part of the driving factor behind this, and I want to say that I'm very thankful to the city of Tullahoma and them deciding to have faith in our program. And starting with the last competition, they helped us with a research scholarship, partly to help just our community get more healthy. They received a grant from the state of Tennessee through Project Diabetes that would help people get into the program and get healthy. The amazing thing is this. We have identified probably at least over these 2 sessions, I've not gotten the final numbers from this go-around yet, we've identified over 40 people in our community that were either diabetic or pre-diabetic, and they did not know it. Okay? So this grant, the things that the city of Tullahoma did for us by putting these people into the program and paying for those blood tests, it's literally changing lives. Okay? If you're not a part of the research scholarship, the grant program, and you want to get those markers checked, all right? I'm not going to get into the details of that tonight. Definitely get that checked either at your local doctor's office. We can do it at the pharmacy. But get it checked. See where you are. Because like I said, we've put, what is that now, somewhere around 150 people through that blood work, and 40 to 50 of them didn't even know they were diabetic or pre-diabetic. All right, another 50 or so already knew it, and another 50 happened to be okay. What if you were in one of those, in that third, that you didn't know where you stood? And I just encourage you to get those tests done. Take control of your health. See where you're at. See, one of the reasons we do those before pictures is so that you can get honest with yourself about where you're at. All right? And I know a lot of you walked in and you did not want to do that before picture. How many of you did not want to do the before picture? All right? And I'll tell you, when I'm setting up the camera and I'm testing everything, and I take my little picture, I'm like, that ain't where I want to be either. And that's the first thing we got to do. We've got to admit to ourselves where we are. But when we talk about that blood work, you may not even know where you are. So I really want to encourage you to take a look and figure out where it is that you currently are. So back to Manchester versus Tullahoma. The competition of the cities. All through the last competition, Manchester was just ahead. And over the last 2 weeks of the competition, guess what? Tullahoma overtook, and Tullahoma was the fittest city last go-round. All right? Manchester, you have something to say about that? Yeah? You going to get them this time? All right? You Tullahoma people, you going to let that happen? All right, so we'll see. We'll keep that competition moving and alive and going. It is alive and well. So we'll have some fun with that throughout the course of the competition. And maybe we can even get some people here at the end to do some recognition for that. All right, so if you are kind of confused at all about the competition, your coach is the person to go to. I'm going to hit the highlights. But they know about how the competition works. They know about the points. But I'm going to hit some highlights real quick right now. All right, so the minimum number of points that you need to have to qualify for prizes are 50,000 points. Now, in those points, I want you to know that when you see your first set of points next week, you're going to get a bunch of points right at first, and then it's going to be slower going through the rest of the competition until the last week. So don't get panicked when we're halfway through and you don't have as many points as you think you should have. That's just kind of the way the process goes. The maximum number of points you can receive is 80,000 points. Last competition, we had people receiving somewhere around 100,000. So it's very doable, very reachable. It works out. The only thing that is a variable is your exercise as far as the more points that you can get or whatever. And if you will exercise about 27 minutes, 5 days a week, you'll get your maximum, you'll get your exercise points that it takes to get to that 80,000. That's assuming, listen to this part, that's assuming you get all of your other points that we're going to talk about in just a minute. So how many of you think you can exercise 27 minutes a day, 5 days a week? All right? So, I mean, some of you already started with your 30 minutes here tonight. And you lived. I think. Is everybody still good? Okay. So here's, of course, you guys already know there's an individual portion, there's the team portion, the exercise points, 20,000 max. Now, it takes about an hour a day, each day throughout the course of the competition to get your max exercise points. You may not need that to get to your maximum number of total points. I don't want you to feel like you have to over-exercise to do this program. Because the truth is this, you can't out-exercise poor nutrition. All right? So we want you to focus. If you have to focus more heavy on one than the other, I want you to focus on nutrition. Now, I love exercise. I mean, I love to get in there. I love to sweat with the best of them, okay? But you can't out-exercise poor nutrition. You just can't do it. All right? So you got to stay focused on that. The other thing is this. And some people have said, you know, that Fit Club thing is a little too intense for me. All right? You don't have to come to Fit Club. The Fit Club points are bonus points. Those are above and beyond everything that you can get, okay? So if you don't want to come into the chaos that is Fit Club, you don't have to do that. That's okay. If you want to come and modify what we're doing and do what you can do, that's okay too. Because what I know is the reason we give the bonus points is if you get in this room, I promise you that you're going to work harder than you do by yourself. It's just going to happen. I do it, all right? I was kind of surprised at how high some of my little kicks were tonight because I wanted you guys to see me kick high, right? I mean, that's just the way it goes. But that's the way we're created, I think, a lot of times. So, moving on. Bonus points. All right, so here's a chance for bonus points. You guys should already know this. If you were not at our information meeting last Tuesday night, I mentioned this already, you can watch that meeting online. If you don't know how to get there, ask your coach. They'll get you there. And you get 1,000 points for watching that. If you were present, you get 1,000 points for being there. You don't get 1,000 points for being there and then 1,000 extra points for watching the YouTube video. All right? I know how some of you work, all right, and you're going to try to get as many little extra points as you possibly can. All of your points will be entered online. If you're not a computer person, if you're not an online person, your coach may help you with that, or we can help you with it at weigh-ins on Tuesdays. There's a computer out here, and we'll have somebody kind of manning that computer. You can bring in what you've got on paper. We'll help you get it entered in each week. You should expect an email towards the end of the week that has a username and a password and a link, a website address to go to enter your points, okay? This first week, it'll be pretty self-explanatory. The second week, I'll have to kind of show you how to navigate and get in there. But the first week, you should be able just to log in and enter your points, all right? So that's the way that'll work. All right. Now, you may say, this is a lot of stuff. This is intense. And it is an intense program. We made it that way on purpose because what we know is if you will get focused for a period of time, you're going to create habits that will last you a lifetime, all right, that you can pick back up on. Maybe you fall off the wagon, and you may not need to come back. You may just need to go, okay, those habits that I learned at Lose to Win, I can pick back up on those, and I can do this anytime on my own. It says you can't achieve any goals without discipline. It's going to take discipline to do this program. We have deadlines. We have cutoffs. We have things that we want you to do at a certain time within a certain time frame. Part of that's just for organizational purposes, but part of that is so that you will continue to grow as a disciplined person. Some of you are probably already very disciplined people, all right? Some of you have a long way to go with discipline. Wherever you are, I don't know, but all of us can grow in our discipline. And when we grow in our discipline, it helps us in our physical life and it helps us in every other aspect of our life as well. So we're going to challenge you to be disciplined throughout this time period. Now, because what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of you that go, well, I'm out of town, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, can I do this, can I do that? Most of the time, the answer is going to be a really sweet, nice no, all right? Because if you want to succeed, if you want to do this, you'll figure out a way. I really believe that, okay? And so I'm going to challenge you to do that. So that's Coach Joe. That's not Cheerleader Joe, right? Cheerleader Joe will be like, yeah, do whatever. But Coach Joe is like, you know what? Get it in gear. You can do it. You can do it, all right? So let's look at your folder real quick, and I'm going to hit some highlights for you in here. We talked about the point system. You'll enter those online. Of course, you get points for attendance. All this stuff's in the information meeting. I'm not going to go over it again. The rules. Now, you may be here tonight, and you may be going, okay, I'm not into all this. I'm not up for all this. I understand that. That's okay. It really is. This may not be your time. This may not be your way. I get that. It's not for everybody. And I'm not saying that it is. Okay? So if you're here tonight and you're going, hey, this don't work for me. I can't handle this. This is your last opportunity to get your money back, okay? Because we need your money for the prizes at the end, all right? But no, seriously, in all seriousness, how many people we have in the program is how we'll figure out how many prizes to give out. And so once we get past tonight and we commit to prizes, we have to have the resources there to give the prizes out. Make sense? So that's why today is the last day to get a refund. So if you're here tonight and you're not liking what you're hearing, that's okay. Nobody will judge you. That'll be fine. Just let us know. That's cool. But don't quit. You already committed that you weren't going to quit. So it doesn't matter, right? We got pictures. We got it on audio and the whole deal. All right. So your coach is going to help you make sure you get all your points turned in. The weekly challenges, all right? The one thing I do want to mention is when you're filling out your paperwork for your water, you can get points for drinking water 2 different ways. One way is by drinking at least 64 ounces of plain, pure water every single day. Nothing in it, no lemon, no sweetener, no nothing, 64 ounces of water. That's 100 points a day. I'm telling you, if you do the math and you figure out, how many minutes of exercise is that? You get 5 minutes for points of exercise, right? So that's 20. Drinking 64 ounces of plain water is equivalent to working out or exercising 20 minutes a day, as far as our little points go. That's how important we think it is. The points aren't just made up random and willy-nilly, okay? The points are set up in how we think things should go. So you may be going, well, why do I have to drink pure, unsweetened, all that water? Part of it's just to prove that you can do it. And part of it's just saying, I can live that disciplined life. And part of it is trying to clean things up. I'll tell you, I will confess to you, like I say, I'm transparent. I am one of the world's worst at drinking artificial sweetened drinks, okay? That stuff is so bad. We shouldn't be drinking that stuff. And so, again, this is helping you break some of those habits. Because maybe you drink your water, but then you squeeze some stuff in it. Or maybe you go, okay, well, I drink tea, and, that's like water, just a little darker or something, I know we all rationalize. It's just part of life, all right? And then the other way you can get points for water is it can be flavored but no caffeine, and you get 100 points for a week. So do you want 100 points a day or 100 points a week or both? You can get both. All right, so that answers that question. The one other question that comes up a lot if you don't get to watch the video is when it says as an idea for one of your challenges each week, don't eat any fast food, that does include Subway. Somebody always asks that. It does include Subway. You can eat just as bad at Subway as you can anywhere else. I promise you, I can do it. So there's just a little chart about your height and weight. Some of you look at that and go, no way, I didn't weigh that. The last time I weighed that was when I was 8 years old, all right? But you can get back there. It may not be in these 10 weeks, but what you learn and set in place in these 10 weeks, you can get back there. The sad thing is this, our culture and our society has started to view us as bigger, okay? And we're accepting that more and more. But these are the sizes that's been proven that we're most healthy at, all right? We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. BMI, your body mass index, all right? That's just a pure math calculation with your height and weight. And again, some of you will go, I could never get to that 25 where I want to be. And it is, and it can be tough. What we know for sure is if you're over 30, not in age, but in your BMI, and that's in your book, your notebook, they should have written that down for you, or it's on this little printout beside BMI. If your BMI is 30 or above, you are at health risk. That's just the proven facts, okay? And, we talk about coaching versus cheerleading, and sometimes I just want to say it to you real clear. And it's just a proven fact. 30 plus, you're at health risk, bottom line. 25 to 30, you're likely at health risk. It's not quite as proven. Again, I'm not going to try to scare you or anything like that, but it's not quite as proven, 25 to 30. But what we know is a BMI of 25, 18, 19 to 25 is when you're at your optimal health, okay? So that's a little bit about BMI. Next is just some real good tips from a former Mr. Tennessee about how to build your meal, we'll talk about some things like this more specifically, but if you're looking for a way to get started, some things to guide you by, these 8 things are awesome to look at. If you're thinking about how do I eat, how do I build my meals, we've got that in there for you. So you can look at that and get some great ideas. Some of you say eating healthy gets boring. I'll tell you that I think that most of you probably ate the same unhealthy things over and over. Why didn't that get boring? Okay? Right? So I don't want to hear it's boring. The other thing I know is people who are successful in life, what do they typically do? The same things over and over again, the same productive things over and over and over and over again. We always believe that people are overnight successes, but the reason people end up successful is because of all the hard work they put in. And so that's what we're asking you to do, is to put in that hard work over time. And it does get a little boring. I'm not beating you up too much. I understand that. Sometimes, that grilled chicken, again, looking at me going, it starts talking to me, it says eat a cow or something like that. But, that's the other way, isn't it? Anyway, eat more chicken. All right, so there's one other, I highly recommend using one of the online calorie trackers to track your food, okay? I've personally leaned towards MyFitnessPal at this point. because it's got such a wider range of food choices on it. But both of those are great. You will not have to turn in your fitness, or you will not have to turn in your food journal, okay? We trust that you're doing it. We trust that you're writing down what? Every single thing you put in your mouth, including gum, whatever, those calorie-filled drinks. Some of you may still drink something with calories in it. That includes stuff that can be healthier for you. Somebody was talking to me about naked juice the other day, all right? Some of you chuckled when I said the word naked. I heard you. Yeah, everybody chuckles. There's kids. Sorry, I just need to watch what I'm saying. All right, so, but there are some drinks out there that are good for you that do have calories. You still have to count those calories, okay? There are some snack ideas in there for you. Something to give you some ideas on the differences from cucumbers to French fries. That's kind of silly that I put that in there to compare, cucumbers and French fries. But you're still eating French fries, right? Hey, don't get me wrong, I still eat some French fries. I had French fries today, I'll confess, all right? And that's the thing that I want to tell you, you don't have to live this life of totally depriving yourself and be healthy. You can still have some things you want in moderation. You just got to figure out what that is. And one of the ways that you can do that is by tracking every single thing you eat. That's going to help you accomplish that goal, okay? So then if you're interested in something like a transition diet, that's a pretty cool article there for you to read. This is just chock full of some good information. Uh-oh, you don't need to turn that in. Week 1 points and information. You're going to do all that online. That didn't even need to be in there. Okay, so that's 300 sheets of paper I just wasted. All right. So this next page here, this is a way for you to track your points throughout each week. So you're going to write down, did I keep my food journal today? And if you kept your food journal, you're going to write 500 points in there. So all points start tomorrow, all right? And if you keep it on Wednesday, you write down every single thing you eat, you're going to put 500 there on down the line, and then you're going to add it up, and you're going to put it in the online system. You're going to write down your exercise minutes each day. You're going to multiply that times 5 and write it in that third column, that third empty column there. And that's how many exercise points you have. And then you're going to write yes or no if you completed the challenges for that day. The challenges are daily. What I mean by that is if you choose 5 challenges or 4 challenges or whatever, and you choose fast food, you say, I'm not going to eat fast food for a week, all right, or for this, 5 days in this first week or whatever. Then you write yes or no, I completed all my challenges today. If you miss a challenge one day, you lose the points for that particular challenge for that week, okay? So you can't count the 100 points for that challenge. You can do up to 5 of those little individual kind of mini challenges. Use those to your advantage. Come up with something that works for you. Maybe, I don't know what it is. People have used it to quit smoking. People have used it to quit drinking, quit dipping, things like that. Whatever you do that is unhealthy, use these little challenges to help you get healthy, all right? And so you can track all that, and then when you enter it online, it's gonna all flow together in the online form as well. Speaking of the online form, just a reminder, your measurements will be entered online this first week as well. So be sure to get those done if you've not done them already, because when you fill in those first set of points, that's where you'll enter that in. For some of you that still like to do the paper thing, that's cool, that's fine, that's okay. And here's just a little kind of a way to track this, to track your food. And one of the things I like about this particular paper form is it's got time of day on there. You may figure out that there's a specific time that you eat every day. There's a trigger there, okay? And so it may be something that you need to pay more attention to. That's why I like thinking about time and when you eat what you eat, okay? And then you can track your calories there as well. I'm a big believer in calorie tracking. When you get closer to your goals, to your goal weight, you have to focus a lot more on specifically what to eat as far as your macronutrients. We'll talk about that later. You don't need to know that tonight. But as you first get started, if you focus on calories in, calories out, you're going to lose some weight, okay? Now, some of you got a printout that shows several facts about you. Some of you did the little handheld thing. Either way, it should be in your folder. Now, one thing that the people who did the little thing that you stand on instead of the handheld that they got was something called BMR, or basal metabolic rate. That's basically how many calories that your body burns at rest in a given day. All right? So if you eat somewhere around that many calories, then all of the other things that you do throughout the day are going to help you to lose weight. Now, some of you don't have that BMR. All right, so you can calculate that, you can Google that, you can look it up, and you can say, Google BMR calculator, and then you'll find it, and you can calculate yours. However, while I'm a very technical guy, I love stuff like this, I'm going to give you a rule of thumb right now that will help you determine how many calories that you should be eating every day. Women, you should take your weight and multiply by 7 or 8. And that's how many calories. That's going to work out amazingly close to what your basal metabolic rate is. Okay? However, I don't want you as ladies, I don't want you going over 1,700 or 1,800 calories a day. Okay? So you do the math on that, and if you end up over that, then stay somewhere 1,700, 1,800 at the most. I don't want you going below 1,200 calories a day unless you're instructed by a physician or a doctor to do that. All right? If your healthcare provider has told you to do that, I defer to them absolutely. But outside of that, I don't want you going below 1,200 calories a day. Men, you can multiply your weight by 9 or 10. All right? Yeah, woohoo! Yeah. I don't want you going over 2,200 or 2,400 calories per day. All right? So if you multiply it out and it's more than that, I want you to stop at 2,200, 2,400, something like that. Men, you don't need to go, definitely not below 1,200 a day, and really, you probably don't need to go below 1,400 to 1,500 a day. Now, some of you are going, this is a weight loss competition, Joe. I want to win. And so, you start doing the math on all that, and over the course of 10 weeks, those 100 or 200 extra calories that you're going to eat, so let's say you want to do 1,000, women, you want to do 1,000 calories a day. You're like, I can do that. I can starve myself for 10 weeks. And he said, don't go below 1,200, but I can go to 1,000. If you do the math on those extra 200 calories a day over the course of 10 weeks, it's not going to make that much of a difference. And the energy level that you're going to lose from not having those 200 calories is going to keep you from being efficient in your exercise. It's going to keep your body from being as efficient as it should be. You'll go into something called starvation mode, and it's going to have a counter effect on your weight. Okay? So, everybody kind of get that? So just because you got your BMR, because you did this little printout, you're not special. Okay? Well, you are. So everybody's special, right? I'm sounding like that guy on Saturday Night Live now. Anyway, so that's a little bit about calories and what to shoot for there. Does that make sense? Cool. All right. That's as simple as that gets on calories. So there are a few copies of that. I didn't put a lot in each of your folders because the vast majority of you will track this electronically, so I don't want to kill too many trees because obviously I killed 300 pieces of paper a minute ago by accident anyway. Here are some notes and questions section that you can use throughout the courses of the meeting to just write things down on, things that you have questions about or notes that you want to take. Isn't that ingenious that I called it notes and questions? Yeah, isn't that cool? Because you can write down what? Notes and questions. All right. And then in the back, if you will bring your folder to every single weigh-in so that we can weigh you in and track it for you. We'll track it ourselves, but we're going to track it for you too. And I'm going to let a little secret out of the bag. One of the reasons that we want you to bring this little folder every single week is because there are 300 of you and there are only 30 of us, okay? So as either myself or Lisa or our coaches or some of our other staff or some of our pharmacy students at the pharmacy, as we weigh you in, there'll be some people that don't know your name, and so I ask you not to be offended by that, but just bring your folder in so that we can kind of see who you are, or if you don't have your folder, just break the ice and say, I am so-and-so, and so it's just, so you don't have that awkward moment of like, hey, man, hey, guy, so we can avoid those moments if you'll keep that in mind. So that is the folder. All right. So there's a page in our nutrition labels, and we're just going to go through this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. But what I want you to focus on, if you do look at the nutrition label, is what you need to focus on is serving size. Because you might look at a nutrition label, you might get out that can of soup, and you go, oh, wow, it's only got 120 calories. And you dump it in, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. And you're like, why am I still gaining weight? Well, there were 2.5 servings of soup in that one can of soup, and you forgot that. So there were really like 300 calories in that can of soup, all right? So when you're doing these things, pay attention to your serving sizes, all right? These are just a few quick little things to get you started this week before we get deeper into it next week. Next week, weigh-ins from 3 until 6:45 or after the meeting. If we're not able, we'll have 3 scales going all the time. We don't have to do all the paperwork in the future, so we can get you in and out pretty quickly. All right, now if you come in and you weigh in and you're disappointed in your weigh-in, there's going to be a couple of things we're going to ask you right off the bat. 1, let me see your food journal, because we're going to take a look and see what's the deal there. And 2, have you been drinking your water? Because those are things that will greatly affect your weight loss for a week. Our bodies do funny things with water. And as you start drinking that water, you're going to go to the bathroom a lot this week. I promise you that. But your body it's interesting because a lot of you are a little dehydrated right now even, especially after that workout tonight. And your body, when you're dehydrated, will hold on to water. And as you start to give it water, not only will that be going through, but you'll be releasing that water as well. And releasing and releasing and releasing all day long. And your boss is going to go, you sure are going to the bathroom a lot today. So, how did I get off on that? We're talking about weigh-ins. Let me give you some expectations for your weigh-in next week. Some of you are going to have some really big numbers. I know in a group this size, we're going to see people that lose double-digit pounds next week. Isn't that exciting? Yes. Then we're going to have some people who do everything right. By the book, you do those 1,200 calories. If you're a guy, you do those 1,600 or 1,800 calories, and you exercise, and you go hard at it, and you gain 3 pounds. Isn't that exciting? No, it's not exciting. But in a group this size, I promise you there will be 4 or 5 people that do everything right, but they actually pick up some weight. And that's just because our bodies do different things, cortisol levels, hormone levels, things like that. We won't get into it tonight. But it is very possible that you do everything right this week and your weight goes up. So if you're one of those people and you get on the scale next week and that happens to you, just remember this moment right here and go, Joe said that could happen, and it will eventually happen for me. It will come off if I keep doing the right things. And I learned to tell you guys this because about 4 years ago we had somebody and she stepped on the scale and she had gained like 4 pounds in the first week. And somehow that was my fault. And so, so we had a little experience right there, and she left and it wasn't good. So I just want to forewarn you about that and just give you those expectations. All right. Of course, we're meeting here. Next week we will have the 4:30 and the 7 o'clock meetings. Of course, the Fit Club in between. Again, join the group on Facebook. Just real quickly, just some things to go through. We've already talked about committing and learning as much as you can. Soak it in. Do as much as you can. This is like a boot camp for you, okay? Treat it like a boot camp. Immerse yourself in it. Learn as much. Do as much as you can in these 10 weeks. You got to eat less, and you got to exercise more. We already talked about a lot of this stuff, okay? And you got to exercise. That sounds like common sense duh stuff kind of, right? Is that kind of duh? You're like, I paid $100 to get into this program, and he told me to eat less and exercise more. Right? Well, you already knew that. A lot of this program is about accountability and motivation anyway. We're going to teach you some other things along the way too. But the reason I put that up there is this. There are too many programs out there that that make things confusing for people and try to tell you all this and tell you all that, but really it boils down to you making wise choices, eating less, eating clean, eating the right kinds of foods. And the truth is, you already pretty much know what they are. All right? We're going to talk more specifically about that next week though. So, start with a few simple goals. Don't think that it's going to happen overnight. Be realistic. This is, Mark, what is this? It's a lifestyle change, right? All right. So Mark and I went round and around about that for a while. But it is you changing your life. You didn't just wake up one morning and go, you didn't fall asleep one night skinny and wake up the next morning overweight, right? That didn't have you to go, you get up and go, oh wow, I'm fat, right? You didn't do that. So you can't expect to go to sleep tonight and say, man, I paid my $100, I'm going to lose to win. And you wake up tomorrow morning and go, oh, I'm skinny now. Right? It's not going to happen. So you got to be realistic and you got to give it time. All right? You didn't get this overnight. It's not going to change overnight. All right. I want you to keep this in mind too. Each meal, each snack, everything you do is a new chance to succeed. So Saturday morning, when you get up and your habit is to have a big breakfast with your family or whatever, and you don't even think about it and you do it and you blow it. Okay, and you eat too much. I don't want you to go, okay, well, I blew breakfast, so I'm blowing the rest of the day today. Anybody ever done that before? Okay, yeah, I mean, that's normal. All right, that's what we call normal. So don't do that. Every moment is a new chance to succeed. So what are some of your excuses? Let me give you some of them. Time, taste, I'm too old. Okay, I'm going to try not to look at anybody when I say these things. Some of you have said my metabolism is just too slow. How many of you have ever used that excuse? I have. It's amazing when you start losing weight that you're like, oh, my metabolism is back. I'm just big boned. Now, a lot of you have said that, right? So, 10 weeks from now, you're going to have smaller bones. It's an amazing thing, it's so cool. My body is just this way. This is my body's natural weight. Okay? No, it's not. It is when you eat Oreos. That's your body's natural weight. All right? You say, I'm sick. Oh, I just feel bad. I'm sick. I can't. No. Okay, so some people say that and use that. I'm injured. Hey, can we use I'm injured as an excuse? No, right? We can't use that as an excuse. There have been some of you in here that have gone through so many things. We had, I need to move on. Here we go. All right. You say, I'm embarrassed. How many of you have ever been embarrassed? That's kind of that's one of the 3 reasons that got me moving on this journey. I walked into a room of a group of people that should have known who I was, and they did not know who I was, and that was very embarrassing to me. But let me tell you about the other cool feeling, is that the people that I knew here in kind of my current life that I met after I gained the weight, the cool feeling is when they don't recognize me now. That is a cool feeling. And that's going to happen for you if you stick with it, okay? So the thing is, you've got to decide to move on from the past. I had this calendar, my last year's yearly calendar that I meant to bring tonight, that I was going to I was going to pull a D. Drake and I was going to rip it up on stage and get all crazy up here. But now you can just imagine me doing that, ripping up a calendar. It's all this, that where you are right now, it's where you are, okay? All that's in the past. It's time to move forward. Are you ready to move forward? Are you ready to change? I'm ready to move forward. You change your choices and you change your life. Are you ready for change? I'm ready for change. I love this quote. It says, "Don't judge me by my past. I don't live there anymore." Are you moving on from your past? Is it time to move on? I believe that you are. And the choice is yours. All right? So, with that, I'm going to let you guys meet your teams. And some of you are going to go, "What if I don't know?" All right, so this is what we're going to